What's up, guys? Matthew Nash here, and today we're going to talk about holsters. We're going to be doing my first unboxing of a holster that I used all last season in competition, but this one was made especially for me. So I'm excited. Stay tuned. Here we go. What's up, guys? So let's get this unboxing going. All right. I actually like these hats. Sweet, same colors last time too. So we're going to talk about the GX Vice holster, and I'm excited about this one because, you know, this particular holster has served me very well from the last season. I have not used the same holster in the 4 previous years from one year to the next. They would wear, they would break. You know, something was annoying me that I learned about and just dealt with, or for whatever the case, but I used a different holster for every season. This will be the first year that I'm using the same branded holster, same everything. This one is very special to me because it was customized for me, and I'll explain that in a second. But again, this is the GX Products Vice holster. They start about $95. You can find it on Ben Stoker's Pro Shop. I'm soon gonna have some special editions on my store. I'm partnering with them now. Let's unbox this one first and check it out. So I got 2 hats, one in blue, one in red, which is really cool because I love the hats. So here it is. So it comes in a nice plastic wrapping, kind of industry standard. I like these because I can repurpose the bags. All right, what do we got here? So nice description on there. You know, it tells product Vice. This one's for a CZ Shadow 2, which we'll grab here in a second. Right-handed, exterior custom MN shooting logo, which is what I'm excited about. Also is in Cryptek Blood Red, inner layer. Screws are gold because I like Iron Man, so that's kind of the theme that I go for. So here we are. Woo! Look at that. Just down with the sickness. Loving it. Oh man, I can't wait to get this on my rig. I love the cryptic pattern. Hold on a second. Let me tell you why I love the cryptic pattern. All right. So this is my new shooting jersey. Partnered with Techwear this year. We're going to be doing some exciting things. I'm going to help them promote their outreach to the local club. So I really love their customer service. You know, I go for a more simplistic design, but man, they do some crazy designs. But the one thing, I don't know if you guys noticed, this is the snow cryptic, which looks sick with my grayed out cryptic. So I love it. You know, the red and white layering just looks really cool. But look at the quality. I don't know if you guys can see that, but just look at that blending. So I'm not gonna lie. There are holsters on the market that are very similarly designed, you know, double layer holsters, right? But this is what separates GX Products from the rest, is the attention to detail. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm gonna try and line up, but this holster was molded perfectly in line with the firearm. So when it sits on your belt, if you want that perfectly straight up and down, there's no cant, there's no, you know, outward bending or whatever. So I typically like it. I'm OCD like that. I like a straight up and down draw. I may angle it forward or backwards a little bit depending on the beaver tail and the firearm, but I want it straight. So when my hand goes down, I kind of feel a grip identical every time. Some holsters just are molded lazy, and you know, you'll get like this weird cant, and you can't fix that on a belt. I mean, it's always going to be canted. So now every time, well, let me show you. So this is how the firearm sits on your holster, right? I don't want the firearm canted like this or this. So when I draw, like it's outward, I want it straight up and down every time. I mean, I kind of learned on this blade tech and that's how it was, and I just got used to a nice, you know, a nice grip straight up and down. But yeah, so I mean, look at the low cut. So, you know, as I'm drawing, I can start getting that gun coming forward much quicker than some holsters that are a little bit higher. You know, I don't know if you can kind of see that, but that one's a little bit higher. I just appreciate that ½ inch, you know. If I don't need it, I'll take it. I can get the gun moving forward much quicker. Has a nice large cutout. I don't know if you can tell. So my front sight doesn't hit. I actually appreciate that as well. You know, on some holsters, I actually was scraping my front sight, and then, you know, a few serrations right here. Now you get like the Kydex red on there. That's just annoying when you shoot. So I actually appreciate that, you know, Leif puts a nice big cutout in there for your front sight post, depending on how high. I mean, it's phenomenal. I mean, it's the OCD on this. I mean, look how it hugs that trigger guard. I mean, it's just perfectly molded. I mean, for a custom holster, this is what you want, right? This is what separates it from the mass-produced, you know, blade techs of the world. You get all those fine-tuning special features, plus custom, you know, text and a look to it that fits your style. So let's talk about this vice grip, which is the name of the holster. This is what got me to switch. This is what caught my eye when I shot with Leif the first time. And I was like, man, I wasn't really, I mean, I was dealing with my holster. I was probably gonna have to get another one because I wore it out. But this is probably, after the OCD aspects of everything just being blended perfectly, I mean, just the fit and finish is unbeatable on this holster. I mean, look at that blending. And this isn't unique to me. I mean, when I got, you know, just an off-the-shelf black holster that I got, you know, this holster off the shelf, you know, just his standard black and red, and, you know, he added, I think, some attachments for me, and just the same quality. I mean, look at that. And that's after a year of use, by the way. Every day, dry fire, beating it up at the range, throwing it in the carry-on. Just amazing, right? Love it. So I don't even want to take it off, but I mean, come on. With that sexiness, the Cryptek, it's just gonna look sick. So I got to. I'll probably put that on a second rig that I use for dry fire only. That way I can kind of be a little bit more convenient. Always packed up for live fire, and now I have one for dry fire. But this is what I wanted. So in production, you know, I don't necessarily need a holster, you know, that the gun falls out on. I can have some retention, so I'll adjust this one. But you know, I don't need it to fall out, but at the same time, I don't want it so tight that I feel some resistance. So if I get a bad draw or something like that, where my hand's not where it is, that resistance can break my concentration even more. So I like, you know, consistent resistance, and what I found is you need a gun that just barely will fall out. That's kind of where I like it. I like it to be in there, you know, where if I should happen to do a backflip, it probably won't fall out, but just at that breaking point. That's kind of what I like, because if it's too tight, depending if it's dirty or the environment, or if you get a bad draw and you have a weird grip, you know, and you end up pulling it from a unique angle or something like that, just off, when there's a lot of tension, you have no room for air. Now you feel a lot of drag, and that could really mess you up or make you feel uncomfortable on your first shot. So I like it just loose enough, and that allows me that if I get a weird grip or something like that, I can still get what I consider a consistent draw, that it's not breaking my attention. I can get that first shot off, adjust my grip as I go. So that's kind of where I like my tension. The problem with that is, if you don't have like what I call a carry retention style tightness to it, or when you're doing your walkthroughs or something, if you want to like kind of check a dynamic movement out, like getting out of a low port position or something like that, or how it feels kind of, you know, doing your quick step and push, or step drag or something like that, you know, the problem is most holsters, you would have to tighten it down. And I've seen like the screws like that, which is fine. That's what I had on my previous rig, is I would tighten it down, I would do that dynamic movement. But there's two things with that. Sometimes when I loosen it, I'm struggling to find kind of that point that I've already done 5 stages, and that's what I expect. So, you know, I used to kind of remember 1, 2, 3 rotations, all right, it's secure, loosen, 1, 2, 3. The problem is when you're working with rubber bushings, that doesn't really translate. A lot of times it ends up being looser or tighter than when you had it. And I'm OCD. I want it to be exactly where it was. So what this lever does is I can cinch it down. I can do backflips without worrying that this is gonna fall in my holster and getting DQ'd. And then right before a match, I can put it down to have that consistent draw that I'm used to. This is what got me to, I mean, just the attention, the details on the thing. I mean, it's big enough that you can do this very easily, back and forth. So if you're on the range, but also this is magnetic, so you don't have to worry about this flapping and coming loose in a match. So as you can see, the lever's out of the way when you draw. So, I mean, it's just perfect, and it looks clean. I mean, so yeah, that is my new holster, the Vice holster from GX Products. Absolutely love it. I recommend it. It's the first product that I'm recommending on this channel for you guys. And if you guys are in the market for a holster, I would get one. Now, I know the demand's pretty high, but I know Leif is dedicated to excellent customer service, so he is getting them out as fast as he can make them, but he will not sacrifice quality. And I actually rather wait a day or two later and get the quality that I am accustomed to with this company. Because like I said, I've had other holsters. It's just frustrating. There was one company that I worked with, and I had to get 3 holsters shipped to me before I could get the cant issue corrected. I'm like, look, I just want it flat to where the gun goes into the holster. I don't want any of this tilt stuff. Just when you mold it, can you mold it perfectly perpendicular to what my body line is going to be? And as you can kind of see, that holster, I don't know if you use levels or what, but that is mounted like a scope on a precision rifle. I mean, it's perfectly up and down. And I actually appreciate that. I mean, in competition shooting, when you're pushing it, you know, I may be overthinking a little bit, but I love it. Second, one other thing that I like about this holster is the rigidness. So I've had this holster for about a year. I think I have only had to adjust the screw once, and I think it was more due to the rubber and the temperature and the weather. It just felt a little looser. So I just came in here, snug up that screw right there, and you know, half a rotation, and I was back to what I consider consistent retention for what I was used to. You pair this with a Boss hanger, which is still my favorite hanger, just for the adjustability on height and depth. You know, just the roundness so it doesn't dig into your hip. I actually really like this. It works with pretty much every belt. I've had a bunch of different belts from Guga to Double Alpha like this one, but I really like it. The only thing I had to do is some of my screws were a little long, depending on the belt, so I've had to shave those down so I didn't really feel that or have any snagging, but you just get a file and you can do that. But yeah, I've had that holster for a whole year, 12, 13, 14, I don't know, 15 majors maybe, and a handful of local matches, live fire 2-3 times a week at a minimum, and dry fire almost daily. And I would still use that. That holster feels like brand new to me. I mean, the quality can't be beat. You know, how rigid it is, it hasn't cracked. I will probably have this holster for years, unless I change up, you know, a color pattern. I just want to get fancy again. I want to splurge and get another cool looking different holster. You know, that's the other cool thing about a custom holster. You can make it yours. Leif will work with you. He'll source, you know, the custom prints that you want. I actually appreciate Leif. Thank you. Thank you for this holster. Thank you for the customer service. I wish your company the best.